What's up, y'all? This NBA season, don't let an injury rule out your bet. Other sportsbooks let injuries box you out, but Fanatics Sportsbook Fair Play protects all bets from first half injury. So if your player goes down with an injury, Fanatics keeps your bet out on the court. Make the switch and get more ways to win with Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to KFS Weekly Wagers. I am Shawn for W, joining you on this cold and snow-covered Tuesday in the New York metropolitan area.
It's not that cold.
It's 27 degrees. What do you mean it's not that cold?
Compared to what we were going through 4 weeks ago, this is balmy.
That was frigid. That was
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's my point of comparison. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Well, guess what? I think there's some teens in our near future. And for those listening on the podcast, that sound you hear is a sweet, sultry voice of Jonathan Macri. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to follow. I've done this twice now, so I know how to do it. Andrew's very well laid out instructions about how to tweet this out.
I did that already.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do it too, just because, you know what? You're not the only one who could do stuff here. I'm good, as I was just, I don't want to say lamenting. That makes me out to be a bad father, which enough people already think. I was somewhat inconvenienced by the fact that my kids are home from school for the second straight day today. Trying to keep them entertained while also doing several things to try to make my wife's birthday good. Happy birthday, Dolores, even though she's with a client right now and is obviously not watching. But I am well.
One, happy birthday, Dolores. I guess this makes her, 28, 29?
Sure. That's great. Yes.
Okay. All right.
She hasn't aged today since we met.
Number one. Number two, I am with you in that I love my child as much as you love your children, but it can be an inconvenience when they're home, especially when school is canceled because of the condition of the roads. And I look outside and I'm like, there is no snow on the road at all. But at the same time, I give grace because not everyone that teaches in my town lives in my town. So if you live in freaking way up in the West Bubble, and you got to get here. Although New York City schools are open today.
I saw that. Listen, New York City, having been a New York City school teacher for 10 years, I can be the first to report New York City doesn't give a fuck about its teachers. But out here in Long Island, where your neck of the woods, they actually care about their pedagogues.
And as someone who spent 13 years in a New York City school system, they don't give a shit about snow days. They give more shits now than they used to.
Yeah, I know that's true. So slow progress. Anyway, basketball tonight. How about that?
Basketball, yes. One more thing. Shout out to my sister-in-law Nancy, who is a New York City public school teacher, who informed me this morning that she has 7 students in her class today.
Today is yes, thank you, Andrew. Today is a day that the amount of kids in your class is going to be directly proportional to the grade that you teach. So yes. If you teach younger kids like that, I'm not going to say you have a full class, but those parents are here, you take them now. It's been too long. And if you teach 12th grade, like I did towards the end of my time, you're going to first period. If you have 3 kids in when you take attendance in first period, that's a lot.
Oh, that's annoying because my sister-in-law lives north of me, and for her to schlep down to the Bronx for 7 kids Whatever. All right.
By the way, Andrew's yelling at me because I just referenced him without acknowledging what I'm referencing. I'm referencing that Andrew in the chat said I was in Florida a few days ago, which is why it is cold. And to which I respond to Andrew, I am so like playing 4D chess all the time that my points of reference are all things at once. So it's like I don't only have to reference it or compare it to Florida. I'm comparing it to all things.
That's right. You tell them.
There
All right, but basketball, which is why we're here. So let us dive in first. Let us review our best bets from Sunday night's game against the Chicago Bulls. John, you're a movie guy.
Yep.
So I assume you've seen The Dark Knight Rises between 3 and 17 times.
I have watched The Dark Knight Rises in its entirety probably 4 to 5 times, and then pieces probably another handful.
Okay. So if we had extra hands on deck, I would insert right here the scene at the end when Alfred is crying and goes, "I failed you. You trusted me and I failed you." Because I blew the 4-leg parlay. And by the way, this is the last 4-leg parlay we're ever going to hand out. I'm telling you that right now. So you degenerates who are scratching yourselves, we're not doing that anymore. And this is why. Because when you go for 3, when you go for 4, you get 3. So Jeff and John, so I'll take you guys a little bit backstage. Jeff and John were fighting over which Gershon Yabusele props to take.
Yep.
Because and as soon as I saw Jeff, because Jeff picked Yabusele points, and you replied immediately, "Fuck." And then when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck," because this had get back revenge game written all over it in a system that's well suited to his strengths. So props to Jeff for hitting Yabusele 10+ points, which hit in the second quarter. Shout out to you for hitting Yabusele 2 threes, which I think hit in the first quarter.
Midway through the first quarter. And shame on you for not recognizing who is the Knick that always produces against the Bulls. Come
Buzelos.
On.
Not Buzelos.
The Knick who always, not the other way around.
Oh, the Knick
who always produces against the Bulls. Think back to last year.
Brunson.
Cat had some of his. I'm going to pull up his game log last year against Chicago. But Karl Anthony Towns, the Bulls are here. I got it right here. Karl Anthony Towns last year versus Chicago. This is where precedent helps. He went for 14 of 30. He had 32 points against the Bulls, 44 points against the Bulls, and 46 points against the Bulls. His worst scoring game against the Bulls last year was 32 points. And then this season played the Bulls back-to-back early on. And Cat had – so he underwhelmed a little bit this season. Maybe that's your
I just forgot that he kicked the Bulls' ass last year.
Because they don't have anyone who could guard him. And they didn't have anyone who could guard him on this game. So, yeah, I would have gone with the Cat prop for you.
That makes sense because, he used to kick Vucci Man's ass.
Yeah.
And Vucci Man isn't even there anymore. So
now the great defensive wonder that is Jay. Although Nick Richards did okay when he was guarding him. So I'll give him that.
Future Nick Richards.
We've been saying that for 4 years.
I mean, I went with Josh Hart. Now, Josh Hart didn't miss any threes, but that's because he only took one.
Which is the first time I'll look that up too. It feels like that's the first. I'm actually shocked that so the over-under was 1.5 Josh Hart threes. What was the
It was pretty juicy. It was like plus, I want to say it was plus 210. It was pretty juicy, which is why I kind of
why did you go with that?
Because he can hit 2 threes in a game.
And here you are the host of a show called Weekly Wagers. Come on, what are we doing?
I'm sorry.
What are we doing?
That's what we call in the industry. That's what we call value. Like,
there's a time and a place for value. Single-handedly ruining our parlay was not the time nor the place.
It should not have been. It should not have been included, and I will take responsibility for that. It shouldn't even been included. It should not have been included. So I'll take responsibility for that.
And I'll correct myself. Josh Hart had attempted multiple threes in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight before taking no threes against the Pistons, which I think you kind of throw that game out the window. And then the previous game against Houston took 3, made 0.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this could be a bounce back. And I'm sorry, I apologize for picking a 40% free 3-point shooter to take 2 threes. I apologize. It'll never happen again.
Last thing, and then we'll move on from this point, mercifully for you. Josh Hart has played in 46 games this year. How many games do you think he has hit multiple threes in out of 46?
31.
17.
Oh.
That's the thing, is there's a lot of games where it's like 1 for 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, 1 for 1 for 1, 1 for 2. Like
they come in bunches with Josh. It's like he hits none or he hits like 3. I'm looking at this right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's hit at least 4 or 6 times. He's hit at least 3, another 5. Yeah. But there's also 11 games where he's hit. No, look, I think the plus, what was it? Plus 210, plus 220. That's probably about right for what it should have been.
I don't think he's been that high for 2 threes in a while, though. Usually it's like plus 160, plus 170. I was like, plus 210.
So you like the value. That's great. I appreciate the value. I definitely appreciate the value, especially against the Bulls, who can't defend you or me at this point with the lineups they're throwing out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wouldn't have put it in the parlay. Anyway, let's move on.
So is life. All right. So that was Sunday. Best 3-1. Sorry if you parlayed it. Blame me. I failed you. That brings us to our scoreboard. Mensa is still in the lead with 21 wins. John is no longer last. John and I have been going back and forth of being last for a while. And again, I am not going to show the amount of money that you would have made. Well, okay. If you took every one of our bets this year,
what are we up to now?
Up 400. Well, it went down a little bit. You'd be up $457.
If you bet $100 on every one of the bets that
one of our bets this year.
Okay.
And 2 people are now in the negative. I'm not going to say their names. So, with that being said, and then betting and sweating, which is the 5 picks that we do once a game,
which we're now all even in terms of the number of bets that we have put forth. Correct?
For betting and sweating, we are actually we're in the middle of a cycle.
Oh, we are.
So,
okay.
Because Jeff goes today. So so we will be even after the.
I just want listen.
Next 2 games.
Yes. Okay, and as long as Andrew or do either of you go again before the next cycle? Because I'm trying to catch up. I want to win this.
I do. So. Let me explain to you the order of the cycle. Is very complicated. So it's Andrew, then Jeff, then you, then Mensa, then me.
Because it's alphabetical order.
There you go.
Okay. So I just need you. I don't want to fall more back of the lead than I am. As of now, I'm 25 points back of the lead. I feel like I can make up 25. If you go out tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday, because that's the game that you're doing the picks for, and you have like a perfect or close to perfect night, then I might be screwed. I feel like I'm like barely alive right now in terms of being able to catch up.
Well, so Jeff is tonight. You, sir, are on Friday for Milwaukee.
Because it's alphabetical order.
Yes,
Got it.
And then Mensa has the Spurs on Sunday, and I get our old friends, the Toronto Raptors, next Tuesday.
You'll fuck that up. Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
So yes, it's still this is still anyone's contest. John, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you have 5. You have 5 turns.
Listen, 5 perfect, 5 like 14, 15 pointers. I could do that.
Absolutely.
I got this.
Absolutely. All right, Knicks betting performance since our last show, which was the day of the Pistons game, which we'll just flush out and join. But that was so 2-1 last week. They lost to the Pistons. They beat the.
Did they? I forgot.
I was going to cut out 5 minutes so I was actually going to cut out 5 minutes to like psychoanalyze your epic crash out against the Pistons, but you and Jeremy did an amazing job doing that on yesterday's weekly recap. Honestly, that weekly recap I enjoyed listening to as much as I've enjoyed any of your episodes this year.
And yet there are still things that I don't think I have fully gotten out there in terms of everything that was behind that. But we have a whole season left for me to talk about and I'm sure that's not gonna be the last crash out either.
At least you're honest. It says 2-1 against the spread last week, but this doesn't sound right because They didn't cover.
No, they weren't. They weren't to this. Yeah, they were.
Correct.
They were 1-2 against the spread last week because they. Oh wait, no, sorry.
No, they were 0-3 against the spread. They didn't cover a game.
Wait a minute.
They didn't cover. They didn't cover against Detroit.
You're right. I actually took them to cover against the Rockets.
So did I.
And I lost that. And then here's why I was confused and why I thought briefly that it was 1-2. Because I looked at the 10.5 against the Bulls. I didn't like that at all. And then I watched them play the basketball in the basketball game, and I watched the spread keep going down, and I waited until it got to -3.5.
Good job.
Then I jumped on it. I think it was in the middle of the second quarter, maybe. I think you know what it was. It was when they went down by, 8. I think. Yeah. They went down by 8. I'm like, all right, it's not. I was confident that they would beat the freaking Bulls. So that I got it at -3.5, and I'm very happy I did.
All right. So they should be 28-30 against the spread this year.
Yeah, that sounds they should
28-31. 28-31. Yeah, 28-31 against the spread. And 0-3 last week. And then over under 1-2 to the over last week, 29-30 overall. I'm done betting Knicks over unders. Well, I'll bet team overs, but like with the game, I can't call it. So, all right.
You don't have a crystal ball.
No, I do not. That's why it's called gambling. All right, tonight's matchup against the new look Cleveland Cavaliers, who Bill Simmons, I listened to his podcast. I was listening to his podcast with Zach Lowe, and he said that the Cavaliers have the highest ceiling in the East. And I just had to laugh out loud because I'm just like, James Harden still plays for them, right? And we know what happens in the last game of the season when James Harden is involved against a team that's, not in the first round.
Can I ask you something though?
Yes.
Seriously, because and by the way, my best bet for tonight, James Harden over points, because I saw the number at 18.5 and I jumped on it, and the reason I jumped on it was because yes, that number is what it is because he has had some low scoring games with the Cavs, and those low scoring games have come against the likes of like the dregs of the league, like the Nets, and like there was a game where I think he shot it 4 times or some nonsense. He's going to be shooting tonight. When is the last time that James Harden has not been the primary ball handler? And I understand he's the nominal point guard, right? And Donovan Mitchell is the nominal shooting guard, but we know who's going to have the ball the most in crunch time. When's the last time James Harden hasn't been the primary ball handler on his own team?
I want to say Oklahoma City.
That is the correct answer. As far as I can remember it, that is the correct answer. Yeah. So that is why, for as much as we could laugh at the pretzels that people are twisting themselves into to try to talk themselves into James Harden in the playoffs being a good thing, I do think that there is some credence to the idea that because he is sharing the backcourt with Donovan Mitchell, who is a big game, unquestionably a big game performer.
Is he?
Maybe except against the Knicks. He's in the playoffs. That guy's track record is pretty good. Come on. It's pretty good, Shawn.
I've seen him pissed out in his leg.
We've seen him do some things, but we've also seen him do some other things. Anyway, I'm not writing it off, but then again, I don't write everything off. Anything off, rather.
Yeah. I'm looking up Mr. Harden's last 6 games. Yeah, he went 1 for 4 against the Wizards. What in that?
That's what it was. I knew there was one really low one. By the way, just for anyone who is, you got them. Cavs 11-17 is the home favorite, and Knicks 4-5 is an away underdog. That's the other thing. I'm throwing 11-17 as a home favorite out the window for the Cavs because I think this is a different team.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a point we're going to touch on when we dive in to what we like for this game. But as of this morning, the Knicks are 4.5-point underdogs at Cleveland, money line plus 140, and the over/under is 232 even. Knicks on the road, 14-13. We have gotten over 500, folks. Give them a round of applause. It only took them until President's Day. 10-17 against the spread, 12-15 in the over. Deep dive against the spread. 5-5 as a dog. 4-5 as an away underdog. 21-16 after a win. Again, they just beat Chicago by 6 on Sunday night. 19-17 with equal rest as both teams played Sunday night, and 20-19 versus the Eastern Conference. Man, that 2-9 stretch is just gonna weigh them down this year. That's where the Cavs.
Your 60 win bet wouldn't be completely ridiculous if that number was inverted.
Because they decided to play Mean Girls for 2 weeks. Whatever. God, Jesus Christ.
I like that.
They were Mean Girls for 3 weeks.
Were they the Amanda Seyfried character, or were they the Regina George character?
So the next time I watch Mean Girls will be the first time, but I know enough about the movie to know the concept of it.
You've never seen Mean Girls?
No.
I can't wait to watch that with my older daughter. I haven't yet.
Have you seen I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker? I've
never even heard of that.
All right then.
Okay, keep talking while I look up that film.
How are you a movie guy? You never heard of I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker? That's a classic. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Is this a Two Americas thing?
Oh, absolutely is.
Okay. Well,
but although you've heard of the person who's made this movie.
Well, I see the poster now.
Yes.
Okay. This looks like something I should watch.
It's a bit of a parody.
Chris Rock as rib joint customer. Yep, I'm watching this film.
So Chris Rock has one of the great. This is one of the great scenes in Black film history. Is the one that Chris Rock is in that had been replicated by children for years of the millennial variety, myself included.
The poster of this film says it's tough to be a black hero. You know what I'm going to do for my wife's birthday? I'm going to go into the bedroom tonight and be like, "Hon, I found the perfect movie for us to watch for your birthday."
Love it.
Yeah, she will. Absolutely.
It's hilarious. All right.
I will watch this. Yeah.
Cavs at home, 19-11, 11-19 against the spread, 12-18 the over. As John mentioned, 17-29 is a favorite. That's because they were pissing down their leg the first 2 months of the season. 11-17 is a home favorite. 15-13 after a loss. They lost by 9 to Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. 18-21 of equal rest, and 14-21 versus the Eastern Conference. But to John's point, this team is not the same team from November and December. They have turned it around. They were at one point, they were 7th. Now they are, I believe they're tied with the Knicks they have the same record as the Knicks, or they may be like half game.
No, they're a game back. This is a really big game. Like, putting aside the betting angle of it, this is a really big game because if the Knicks win this game, it's then a 2-game difference in the standings, and it's effectively a 3-game difference in the standings because the Knicks they will own the tiebreaker regardless of what happens tonight, but just the additional game plus the tiebreaker.
Yes,
it's a lot.
So, Mr. Macri, where are you looking to place your money on tonight? Besides anything else besides your best bet of Jim James Harden, is there anything else that like stuck out at you? Because during my research, there's something that stuck out to me.
I don't want to step on your toes, but I don't think this is something that will have stuck out to you, but you never know. All of my eyes are on Karl Anthony Towns tonight. That's the only thing that I am wondering about, because Cleveland, some of his most, I don't want to say some of his worst games, but some of his most notable bad games as a Knick have come against this Cleveland team. So just as a quick reference point, opening night this year, he was 5 of 12, ended up scoring 19 points because he got to the line a fair bit. He got to the line 9 times actually in that game, but 5 of 12 from the field. Christmas Day, for all the Knicks that had really spectacular performances on Christmas, Karl Anthony Towns, not one of them, finished with 11 points, 5 field goals. And then the one that probably still sticks out in most people's minds, which was like such an anomaly when it happened, especially with how all of last season played out, and then has since become not as much of an anomaly given how this season's played out. The early last season against the Cavs, where he took 8 shots, made 4, and scored 13 points, which was like, what? Now, he did have a couple decent games against them last year. 25 points in the very late season game, 23 in the middle of the year. But the Tory I tossed out the window because that was that game that got blown out, and it was like not even a game. So there were some garbage time stats racked up liberally. So really, he's had like one good game against the Cavs in 5 tries as a Knick, and I think they defend him pretty well. So that might sound like I'm making an argument for taking a bunch of Towns unders, and yet if the Knicks know what's good for them, they're going to try to keep this Towns thing going. And it is absolutely a thing that is happening right now. He scored 20 or more points in 5 straight games, which is by far, he had scored 20 or more points in 3 straight games one other time this season. And that was the most previously before this stretch. So I want to see what happens here.
I'm interested in seeing it as well this season, as you said, 10 for 25 from the field against the Cavs. That's not what you want.
Not ideal.
And obviously the 3-point shooting or lack thereof this season has been, that's not right. I'm not creating any new news with that one. What did Carl say the other day? The offense is the offense. Well, has the offense changed? Or is it just like someone said? Because I quote Benji's line all the time. Players have agency. Like I was saying this in a group chat. Like, you can't scheme. You could never scheme Julius Randle out of the game. Like Julius Randle saw a mismatch. It's gonna be like, you can't guard me. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Right.
Well, but Julius also got. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into this conversation, but Julius, there's not a human being in the league, still isn't a human being in the league, that could keep Julius off the block if he wants to go get down to the block.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of like a small guard that would be funny for me to say. Pretty much anyone, if they try hard enough, could keep Kite off the block. He needs to make it a point to get down there, which is why I found it so interesting against the Rockets in the first quarter, really early in the game. He made it a point to do that. So, yeah.
What I'm looking at for this game is it's aligned with my best bet for tonight is 3-point shooting. Because I was doing some research and I saw that the Cavs are like bottom 10 in the league in 3-pointers allowed. Now remembering that the Cavs are playing differently now than they were at the beginning of the season. So this season, the Cavs have allowed the fourth most threes in the NBA, 820. The only teams that are worse are, two of these teams are like absolute dog shit, and Utah and New Orleans.
In terms of allowing the most threes.
The most threes allowed.
Yeah.
So Utah's last. New Orleans is 29th. You'll never guess who's 28th. They're a good team in the Western Conference.
That have allowed a ton of threes?
They've allowed the 3rd most threes in the NBA this year.
Minnesota?
Keep going up the standings.
Denver?
Keep going.
OKC?
The reigning defending NBA champions. That's insane. They've allowed, what is this number? 828 threes made this year.
By the way, to cap off the Towns point, the over-under on him is 19.5, but the over you could get at -105. The under will cost you -125. So it tells you what the fine folks at Fanatics Sportsbook think about what's going to be happening tonight.
Absolutely. So Cleveland again, fourth most allowed threes in the NBA this year. Now I decided to drill a little deeper and see like what about this calendar year. So since January 1st, they are 5th in 3-pointers allowed this year. Since February 1st, fifth. They're 5th worst. They've allowed the 5th most threes.
Yeah. Okay. And then what about since February 1st?
Since February 1st, they've gone down to 13th.
All right.
It's gotten better.
They allowed a shit ton to Oklahoma City the other day, and that was without their 2 best offensive players. I'm sitting here looking at the 3-point over-unders. And again, just to stick with my little little theme here. The Cat number is obviously over. Well, maybe not. Obviously, it is over 1.5. To get over 1.5 at plus 110 for Towns threes.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I don't know that I hate that. I don't think I mind that.
I don't hate it either. That's part of the reason why. So for my best bet for tonight, I actually went with Landry Shamet to hit 3+ threes, which was pretty juicy. Which was a pretty juicy number.
So it's plus 135. Yeah, that's nice.
So Cleveland is 24th in 3-pointers allowed made by this app that I'm looking at, but against shooting guards, they're like bottom 5 in the league. So listen, I was very tempted to go back to our friend Josh, but I was like, I'm going to leave this. Although, you know what? Josh loves to hit a few threes against Cleveland. That much I will say. But I'm looking at 3-point shooting. I'm looking at Shaman, obviously. I had my eye on Cat. I had my eye on Brunson. Ironically, they do pretty well guarding the 3 against power forwards, which is why I didn't look at OG. And also OG has been, he can't throw. He hasn't really been able to throw in the ocean lately. But yeah, 3-point shooting. Guys, look out for that 3-point shooting bets against this team.
If you want to get nuts,
let's get nuts.
Shamet for most threes tonight is at plus 650. And then if you really want to get nuts, you could just bet on the greatest shooting big man of all time, who is coming off of a game in which he hit 5 threes. And that's plus 1,700 for Cat to have the most threes tonight. Now,
wait a minute. You said the greatest shooting big man of all time. I didn't know Dirk Nowitzki came back out of retirement and became a Knick.
If you think Cat's going to make it 2 games in a row, lighting it up from deep, then you could do worse than betting on him to have the most threes in the game at plus 1,700. But I think that this is also a very dangerous game to place that sort of a bet where you have obviously Donovan and James and Jalen and who am I forgetting? Oh, it's Sam Merrill.
Sam Merrill's. There will be a bet on Sam Merrill most threes tonight. I'll tell you that much because he gets it up. But even
I wouldn't touch any of those for what it's worth, because to me, looking at I could sit here and I can make the good faith argument for the likes of Shamet and Cat, and yet even putting those aside, looking at Donovan, Jalen, Sam Merrill, and James Harden, I don't even know which one of those I would pick first if they were all like even money.
Yeah. Sam Merrill plus 4+ threes plus 230. So actually for most threes, and you mentioned it on yesterday's post game, Mikal Bridges at plus 1,200, because maybe hopefully if that 3 late against Cleveland got him off the schneid, I think there's value there. I think with Sam Merrill, I'm always looking at him for most threes, although plus 450, maybe I should bet him to hit like 5 of them at like plus. What is 5? Sam Merrill is to hit 5 threes at plus 425.
By the way, the next time Karl Anthony Towns hits multiple times as a Knick will be the first time. So
wait, what?
Maybe the next time that Karl Anthony Towns hits multiple threes against the Cavs as a Knick,
against the Cavs
will be the first time. Why did I not add as the Cavs?
No, I misheard that part. I was like, there's no way he's had multiple. There's no way he has not had multiple 3-point contests this year. Okay. All right. So John is looking at how Cat performs tonight. I'm looking at 3-point shooting across the board. Now let's dive into my favorite segment, which is guess the Knicks futures. So this is last week, and I'm gonna pull this up here on my computer. Here we go. So this is last week. No, don't want to do that. There we go. This is last week. The Knicks were tied for 5th, as John so eloquently pointed out to me last week, and he's correct, for best odds to win the title at plus 1,300. OKC, Denver, Cleveland, and San Antonio, and then a 3-way tie between Boston, Detroit, and New York. To win the East, the Knicks were second at plus 330, behind Cleveland at plus 300, and in front of Detroit plus 340. Something tells me that's going to change. Boston plus 380, Philly plus 1,100, and the Knicks were the favorites to win the division. So, Mr. Macri, what do you think? Where do you think the Knicks rank I don't want, if you want to try and guess the number, you can guess the number, but I'm more concerned about the rank. Where do you think the Knicks rank in their odds to win the title and their odds to win the East? Again, they were tied for 5th to win the title and tied for 2nd to win the East last week. Where do you think they are now?
I think they're now going to be 7th to win the championship, and I think they're not going to be 4th to win the East.
Did you look this up?
No. Swear on my kids.
Well, you nailed it exactly right. The Knicks are 7th, outright 7th to win the title at plus 1,500, dropping from last week they were plus 1,300. And now they are 4th to win the East behind Cleveland, Boston, Detroit, and behind Cleveland, Boston, Detroit. They are at plus 400. For those listening on the podcast, I'll read them all for you. To win the title, the favorites, Oklahoma City plus 135, Denver 5-1, San Antonio 10-1, Boston and Cleveland 12-1, Detroit 13-1, and then the Knicks at 15-1. To win the East, Cleveland 3-1, Boston plus 325, Detroit plus 350, Knicks 4-1, Philly 12-1, Orlando 25-1, Charlotte 35-1. And I do want to announce that to win the Atlantic, the Knicks are 2nd to win the Atlantic behind Boston.
You've been on that all year. They're now dogs to do that.
I'm every time the Knicks are favorites are underdogs to win the Atlantic, I will take it. The Toronto 40-1, Philly is now 200-1. So our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook said enough with them, and Brooklyn is no longer listed. Poor them.
The bet that's most interesting on here for me is the last column, which we haven't talked about yet, which is the Knicks over/under wins. When you were standing, as you often do,
standing on business,
sure, proclaiming Knicks 55 or over 54.5 wins earlier in the year, what was the action on that during that time, roughly, usually?
Oh, you could have gotten that for you could have got that plus 400, plus 500.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then it got lower, and then when they won 8 in a row, this number got down to last week was plus 200. At one point it was like plus 180, but then it's gone back up.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's a plus 260 right now. To get to 55 wins, they would have to go. I know actually know
37 and 21.
18. They would have to go 18 and 6.
Which is possible. I mean, the 2012-13 Knicks, the last team that won 54 games, started 18 and 6. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why I remember that. But you know what's interesting, John? The Knicks have won 10 of 13, and this number went down, including 2 of their last 3.
I mean, so in order for them to hit that number, they would have to win every game that they are quote unquote supposed to win, which I'm looking at their schedule. Bucks, Jazz, Pacers, Pacers again, Brooklyn, Washington, New Orleans, Memphis, Chicago. I'll throw Atlanta in there. That's 10 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to win basically all of those. I don't know if you could drop any of those. And then that means they have to get 8 more wins, and they have to basically go 8 and 6 in the rest of the games. It's possible. It's certainly possible, but you look through the rest of the schedule, and there's a lot of real teams. The 2 games left against Charlotte. Those will factor in prominently here. Obviously, they got to go to OKC, rematch against Houston in Houston. So I don't think it's I think now that I'm thinking about plus 260 is probably the right number. For a second, I was actually going to make the argument that that's a good value play, but no, I think plus 260 is the right number.
And they have a 4-game road trip, which goes from Charlotte, Oklahoma City, Houston, Memphis. Houston, Memphis on a back-to-back. Thanks, Adam Silver. But before that, they have a 5-game road trip, and we all know that the 5th game of 5-game road trip is usually a scheduled loss, and that game is against our friends from Indiana, who we all know will put their tanking bullshit aside for one night.
I think the Knicks will take. I actually think the Knicks are going to take care of business in that game. There's the 5-game road trip. And then they have an easy slate where they play essentially 5 straight games at home because the one road game is Brooklyn. And then they have a 4-game road trip, the last of which is a back-to-back in Memphis. Now,
did I not just say this 10 seconds ago?
No, you said the other one. You said the Pacers.
No, I said them both.
Oh, I didn't hear the first part. Sorry, I was looking.
Sorry, it's all good.
Now the Grizzlies may be deep in the tank by then, which they already kind of are. Mm-hmm. But it's let's put it this way: ends of 2 separate long road trips, both games that you kind of have to have is. You could look at it 2 ways. You can look at it, well, that's a scary proposition, or you can look at it like, oh, that's a gift.
Let me tell you all something. The Jonathan Macri crash out when they lose to the Pacers on Friday the 13th in Indiana, which is also my son's 10th birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is going to be generational if they lose. They play these clowns twice in like the span of 3 days. Like, and to your point, like they have a 5-game road trip, and then they come home for Golden State, which, whatever, that could go either way. I bet you, Madison Square Garden game. I bet you Madison Square Garden is a full effect for Steph Curry. I bet you he'll be back by then, and then it's Indiana again, and then you, to your point, Brooklyn, Washington, New Orleans, they stink. Although
we've been saying it all year. If the Knicks go out there and they play the level of basketball that they're capable of playing, which we've seen for about 8 minutes since the All-Star break, they could, 55 wins is not crazy. I am going to go ahead and stick with my preseason prediction of that they're going to finish the season with 53 wins, which would leave them a half a game short of what I believe their original over-under was of 53 and a half.
And I would say, I think it comes down to the Knicks want to make sure they're either, because the 1 seed is gone, they want to make sure they're either 2 or 3. I don't think they want to fall to 4. I don't think it's the end of the world if they fall to 4. Because I think there are some things that they can do against Detroit that they have not done all year in terms of, look, Houston is Detroit West. And what they did against Houston in the fourth quarter.
Hold on. One of those teams has not the best point guard in the league, but in terms of how he can, the toughest matchup for this particular Knicks team. And I said this that night, a jumbo playmaker like Cade, who you can't target on the other end. You could argue that him personally is as tough a matchup for the Knicks as anyone, whereas Houston has nothing even remotely resembling that player. So other than that, though, yes.
Yes, other than the fact they don't have Cade Cunningham. But they're big, they're physical, they want to beat you on the boards. They're, and the way they played that fourth quarter, when they said, you know what, let's go 5 out.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hot Hand Theory. They brought up a good point. They were like, look, Detroit loves to send help all the time. And you know what? You know what's harder to send help? When they got to run around the court because you have 5 shields on the floor and they're running around all over the place. But when the Knicks want to do their let's pass up these open threes and pump fake and drive into the paint and oh look, it's Jalen Duren, and oh look, Asar Thompson, and oh look, Beef Stew is just hanging around. He's doubling off of people.
No, if you want to beat Detroit, you have to play with urgency at both ends. It's really very simple.
And not go 1 of 12 on open threes, wide open threes.
Yeah, look, I don't think I said this that night. It's probably one thing I didn't say. I think they were playing scared that night, and I think when you're playing loosey goosey, and I think you're playing with confidence, I don't think you go whatever it was 2 of 20.
Scared or tight?
Is there a difference?
Yes. Scared is like I really don't want to play these dudes. Tight is like I don't want to mess up. I don't want to lose to these dudes.
Then how about both? I think it might be a little bit not scared like no scared. I guess scared is the wrong word, but like
words matter.
Yes, they do. I knew
they were there. To your point, to play against Detroit requires a style of basketball that this team doesn't want to do. You got to be in it. Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah.
You gotta be fully into it. You gotta be fully into the notion of like, I know what's coming tonight and I want it. I want all of it. And that's not the attitude that they had. It is can they get that attitude back when they actually play the Pistons? If they play the Pistons in the playoffs, I'm not putting it past them. I'm putting it past them.
No, they're not.
Anyway,
I think they're also just like, listen, this team when it comes to the playoffs can't fuck with us. Like, we will, But to your point, we'll find out.
Maybe. Or maybe we won't. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, listen, bet the Knicks to win the East. The Knicks are coming out of the East. I've said this all year. I will continue to stand on business. As me and Mensa said, and I'm sure 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure, John, you agree with me. Anyone who wants to bet Cleveland to win the title or the East, we will book those bets for you. Please. I will book those bets for you. I'm not going to speak for John. I'll book every last one of them.
The Cavs would be fourth for me in terms of the odds to win the East, and they're currently first. So I would agree that their current odds are out of whack. That said, for me to have all four of these teams in a band between plus 300 and plus 400, I do not think that there's anything out of whack with that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say Cleveland should be, plus 600 or something like that. I just don't think so.
I would have Detroit first. I'd have the Knicks second. I'd have Boston third, and I'd have Cleveland fourth. But team futures are reactive. They reflect the market. And listen, as soon as that James Harden trade, people got amnesia and started buying into Cleveland. Like, all right, like.
Let me ask you. Wait, I gotta go because I gotta go run some errands with my kids. Out of the NBA championship odds that we have listed for us right there, which I think I would say, other than give or take a Minnesota, those are the only 7 teams that need to be up there. What do you think is the best value? Objectively, what do you think is the best value?
Of the 7 teams listed to win the title?
Yes. So, and just to go through for anybody listening on the podcast, OKC, heavy favorites, plus 135, Denver, plus 500, Spurs, plus 1,000, Boston, plus 1,200, Cavs, plus 1,200, Detroit, plus 1,300, Knicks, plus 1,500. What's the best value?
It's either the Knicks or the Nuggets.
Interesting.
Because I don't think you can go from not winning a playoff series to winning 3 playoff rounds. So goodbye San Antonio, goodbye Detroit. Boston, I think the way it looks right now, if looks like the Knicks and Boston may be the 2-3 matchup in round 2, I think they'll beat Boston. And Cleveland, I just spoke about Cleveland. Unless, again, we know the last game of the season, James Harden is going to go find a corner and just pee on himself. So, I think Denver at 5-1 with the best player in the world, and a team that the best player in the world who took Oklahoma City to 7 last year. And I wonder if they'll allow Alex Caruso to beat Jokic over the head of a 2x4 like they did last year. But I think it's those two. I think it's Denver and the Knicks.
Okay.
All right. That is that. Any last words before we get out of here, John?
No. Mitchell Robinson to have the most rebounds tonight, plus 750. Just throwing that out there.
That I will take a look at that. I will take a look at that one as well. All right, so that is our show for today. Actually, we do have one more thing we want to plug, and that is we are having a watch party. Where did this go? Right here.
Right there.
There we go. Sunday, March 8th, so Sunday after next at 2:30 p.m. at the world famous Penn 6, 132 West 31st Street, Midtown Manhattan, half a block from the world's most famous arena. We are brunching with Brunchin. So listen,
Brunchin with Brunson.
Yes, try saying that 3 times fast.
I will not.
So listen, if you want to get brunch, you can pull up and have brunch. If you want bottomless brunch, I know some of y'all out there like your bottomless brunch. $50, you get unlimited mimosas, bellinis, Bloody Marys, or Aperol Spritzes for 90 minutes from 2:30 to 4. If you just want to get lunch, if you just want to get drinks, you just want to hang at the bar, you can. The first 25 people who show up that RSVP'd will get a free neutral cocktail bucket. There's a picture of it there. The link to RSVP is in the show notes of this podcast, either on audio or on YouTube. But if you go to tinyurl.com/KFS brunch, tinyurl.com/KFS brunch. Also, we'll be giving away Knicks pendants, but you have to show up. We'll be raffling those off. We'll always have some giveaways. And to answer your question, Andrew, you can wear whatever you want. You do not have to wear an ascot and a blazer. As he was talking about. Oh, you missed that part. Sunday during the post game while you were doing your SNY thing, he was like, "What do I have to wear to this brunch? Can I just wear sweats and a hoodie? Or do I have to wear brunch attire? Come as you are, come as you're able." Shout out to Neutrals, shout out to Sophie Dash PR, shout out to Pen 6. This should be a really good time. If you like what you're watching and you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to Knicks Film School Podcast on YouTube. That way, if you subscribe on YouTube, you get alerts when we go live for shows like this, the weekly recap with John and Jeremy, X and O's with Benji and DJ. Benji, we love you. The KFS After School with myself and Jeff. Cream Cap rules everything around me with Jeremy. Dream Draft rules everything around me with Chris Preciano, which will be here sooner than you think. And emergency live stream that things go left. Then Jonathan Macri will hop on to discuss. Subscribe to us. We're available on all podcast platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give us a 5-star review. Not 1, 2, 3, or 4. 5 stars, please. Follow us on all socials at Knicks Film School. That is Knick Film, SKOOL. And if you want even more Knicks content, you have 2 options. 1, become a patron. Sign up for the Knicks Film School Patreon as cheap as $7 a month, where you get all of our podcasts ad-free. And also you get additional bonus podcasts hosted by Mr. Jonathan Macri. Also, you get access to Benji's grade book, DJ's film sessions. And if you want more Knicks content, your other option is to sign up for the KFS newsletter coming to your inbox, written by Mr. Jonathan Macri 5 days a week. For John, I am Shawn for W. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Knicks Nation, let's ride. And if you're out on your bike tonight, do wear white.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.